Hey everybody, and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Today we're going to talk about The Batman Who Laughs, #1, probably the most anticipated of the Dark Knights tie-ins. This is written by James Tynion IV, with art by Riley Rossimo, with a stellar cover by Jason Fabok.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about a little bit about what happens in this issue first. So
Sure.
I'll tell you what happened there. The Batman Who Laughs plays cards across from an unseen captive as he explains his diabolical origins. Joker hatches his worst scheme yet, destroying Gotham City and murdering countless innocents, along with his fellow rogues and Commissioner James Gordon. Batman finally frees himself and murders the Joker, releasing an unknown toxin into Batman's lungs. Later on, he reveals to his closest allies in the Bat family that the damage is done, just before murdering everyone in a hail of bullets. He makes short work of the entire Justice League, saving Superman and his family for last. He conquers the Earth and waits until Barbatos promises him new Earths to destroy. And now that you're caught up to speed, we can talk about what we thought about it. Let's initial thoughts on The Batman Who Laughs.
I enjoyed it. I know there was a lot of hype surrounding this in a sense. Like, this is the one everyone was most anticipating. I mean, obviously, when you have a relationship between the Joker and Batman, and then to clearly make it out to be like, this is a Batman affected by the Joker.
Yes.
You know, it's going to be something that everyone is very much, like, anticipating and excited for. I don't know if it was, like, wow, unbelievable. I still thought it was good, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought it was just a solid issue. I thought it was a fun issue to read. I thought it was fine. I thought it was completely within the expectations that they have brought for us, thanks to all the other great tie-ins.
Yeah.
But overall, I was not as wowed as most of my peers. I find that a lot of the audience responded to me and they were like, this book really haunted me and it really like shook me to my core. And I'm like, right on. I didn't feel that. I thought it was kind of by the numbers, and I thought it was a little bit like expected. Especially because I think the twist of how the Batman Who Laughs affected, like how he was created, his origin point of like killing the Joker and becoming the Joker, I had heard that months ago. Yeah. So I feel like because I knew that, it might have taken the teeth out of it a little bit.
Right. I guess for me, there's a couple of things I didn't feel like they addressed as fully as I was hoping, or I thought they would, including the Robins and the Crow. Yeah. Which I assume, I think most of us
it's Crowbar, because the bar is the, he said, they say Crow and then he says bar, and that's like his like retrieval term.
Right, exactly. But like, that's clearly an homage. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I thought they might.
I thought there was a little more of that.
Delve into that a little bit more so.
No.
And like, and honestly, not that I had a problem with Damian being in this, but I felt like that was just kind of shoehorned in there. That last like kind of reveal of what had happened to him.
Yes.
For me, yes, like Batman killing the Joker, like that's obviously how that was going to end up going. The like surprise release of that toxin, I didn't see that coming. For me, the part that I might consider like kind of haunting actually was the death of Jim Gordon and just the description of that. It was funny because, you know, in comics in the medium, like you expect usually to do the show, not tell.
Yes.
But the tell of this, I was like, thank God you're just telling me this, because it's actually like worse because of the image I am creating in my mind than what would actually put on paper.
Yeah.
I thought that was like expertly handled.
No, I agree.
Honestly.
There's a lot of maturity there to have chosen the way they told that story.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, we delve into a good portion of Batman's relationships, again pushing aside Alfred in this universe.
Big time. I will say the Superman scene for me is the most haunting. It was the most like horror aspect of it, and I loved it in as much as I loved how horrified I was by it. Yeah, that was good. It was well put together. I think Tynion did a nice job. He wrote a really basic but very, very haunting and insightful story about the character, and ultimately, I don't know. There's not enough there for me to be as fearful of the Batman Who Laughs that I was when I didn't know anything about him. Right.
I mean, like, honestly, it wouldn't have been fair to give this book more than one issue, but I feel like Tynion could have done a lot with a second issue.
I agree with
that.
Like,
just a 2-issue mini, essentially, about the Batman Who Laughs. Like, I think that would have given him a lot of room to develop more of the concepts that he had started here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that really would have bolstered it.
Big time. What about the art?
I thought the art was really great. I didn't know this artist at all. I thought they did a really good job blending like kind of older images of Batman and the Joker.
Yeah, I had shades of White Knight in there.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, here's all my favorite parts of Batman. I'm going to make you look at those. Plus, like, the new Rebirth look.
Right, but, like, modern, like, you know, Barbara Gordon and, like, modern Batman suit. Like, very interesting blending of things, but the art style overall, I thought it was an interesting choice because it was able to be grim and gritty, but also had this, like, almost, like, cartoonish element to it. It was very much like the Joker in a sense, but without, like, that off-kilteredness, and I think it helped to make it, I don't know, like it almost created this interesting barrier between like the like reality of what was happening and like the art style itself.
I think it could have benefited from a more horror element. I think someone like Menton 3 or Jock would have made it that much more. It would have pushed it over the edge. Would have made it. I think I would have bought more of it, and I think I would have been more horrified by it. I think I would be a lot more. I'd be singing more of its praises if the art was a little more scary.
Yeah,
and a little more like interpretative and dreamy-ish. I don't know. This was fine, and I think the art was really, really, really good. I want to see. I want to see Rossimo on more Bat books because of how good this looked. I don't know if it played to the strengths of what this book was hinged on.
No, it's true. And again, I think a lot of it, like, I'm not saying, I don't think this is a disappointment at all.
No,
like, I enjoyed the read.
That's the thing. I liked reading it, but I just didn't. I liked it as much as I liked the Flash one or even the Aquaman one.
Well, I personally, I really enjoyed that Aquaman one. I thought that was like a clever way to do it. Like, we have a chick here, we have to explain that. Yeah. And I thought that was pretty clever. I do think there was a little more thought, and like I think the story was a little tighter in this one.
I agree with that.
That one was very like, you said this was by the numbers. I feel like that one was by the numbers. This one did have its twists and turns, and like I said, like for me, that Jim Gordon like description like was just so put it over the top for me, and like that I felt like, I don't know why, like that for me encapsulated the Joker there. It wasn't him creating the like Bat family or the family death over and over again, like Bruce Wayne's like fall. It was him holding the pipe and like just the whole thing, just treating it like it was a game as he's describing literally Jim Gordon dissolving. Yeah. I'm like, that is so sick and twisted, but he does it in such a like Joker fashion that I was just like, ooh, like, yeah.
Really, like I bought it.
Yeah, like I did, and it was for me, like, you know, Barbara like hints at the, you know, the whole Killing Joke, like, you know, events that happen to her, and so to then like flip this and like create this like scenario for Jim Gordon instead. I really like. I hate to say I enjoyed it because it's so terrifying,
it's so horrifying, but it's also, but it was, you know, you like horror. So
I do, I really do. And then of course, like to see how he takes down the Kent family.
Yeah.
And honestly, even just like trying to figure out what had happened on the Watchtower for some of the characters. Some of them a little more gruesome than others. Some of them a little obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, there were things that you're like, I can imagine what happened and what led to this.
A lot of cool teases in this issue. We had a double-page splash of more of the Dark Multiverse. You get to see more of what they're probably going to plumb in the future after this event is long over.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of like, what are you doing here? Like Black Canary, just like a crazy bat. I was like, sure.
Like, what is that pitch?
Right?
I guess I want to see that.
Like a Mad Maxian version of like Black Canary. Yeah, I'm in.
Cool stuff. Overall, I think this was kind of like their like and like their final like guitar solo moment of this chorus. I don't know.
For me, and I'm going to put this out there just to make sure you understand, like you said, like you kind of knew how what was going to happen. For me, I had not had the opportunity to read Batman Lost, and I read them back to back. Yeah. And so without doing it on purpose, I was comparing the two of them, and I really enjoyed
Batman Lost is so good. And I feel remiss we didn't get a chance to review it, but it's just overall
it was a great book.
That was tremendous. This is fine.
It is, but that's not fair for me to
It's
be
very different.
comparing
They're
them.
two different books.
But you can't help it, like when you read something back to back, especially when it's in the same like story arc and like it's about the same character.
Yeah,
well, not the same character, but it is a Bat character. Yeah. As tie-ins go, I think this was a really great tie-in.
I think overall, all the Dark Knight Metal tie-ins have been rewarding in some way.
I'm glad that we have it. It's funny because the Batman Who Laughs, I feel like, is the one character that if we didn't get the origin, it wouldn't have taken away from his character.
Not at all.
Because you could have just imagined what happened. I think having it doesn't take away from him either.
I agree.
You know? So
no, he's not diminished in any way for me. So there you have it. Can you recommend?
I absolutely can. I mean, like, look, here's the thing. If you haven't read any of the tie-ins for this book... I think
it's fine. You still don't need it.
No, I don't think you need it, but I think, like, this is the one that people are going to be talking about the most. I think this is the one that will probably explain some of what's going to happen later on. Clearly, the Batman Who Laughs is going to be a heavier hitter, I think, than some of the other Batman than we've seen.
He's definitely got a higher profile than any of the others in any of the main series.
Yeah, so I would definitely, if you're into DC Metal right now, I would go out and spend the extra dollars, grab that book.
I agree. Yeah, check it out. It's definitely worth a pickup. I think that unless you like the visual of him and you don't want to know.
Yeah.
In which case, just skip it. But if you want to be part of it, or if you're like, I'm reading all the time, should I pick this one up? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, let's jump into some books that we can recommend that are coming out this week that we think you should pick up. Tiffany, what do you think?
Absolutely. Over in DC, Doom Patrol #9 is coming out. We had a little bit of a break there. So, you know, like last month there was supposed to be an issue, they pushed it back. So now it's coming out this month. I'm super stoked about this series. I really like what they're doing with it. We're into a new arc now, so, you know, maybe not the best place to start off, but just go back one issue. You haven't missed much, honestly, because of this little gap here. And everything else, you can pick up the new volume. It's written by Gerard Way, of course, from My Chemical Romance, and Umbrella Academy, which you'll be seeing on Netflix at some point.
Yeah.
Fame, and then art by Nick Darrington, so it has this cool vintage feel to it, but, like, it really works. Trust me, it really works. Also from DC, again, I don't know this writer, honestly, by Andrew Constant and Brad Walker. Etrigan's getting his own mini-series.
Yeah.
It's a 6-issue mini-series called Demon Hella's Earth. You know me, I like magical characters, I like mysticism, so of course I like the Demon Etrigan and Jason Blood, so I'm definitely going to check that out. I don't know if it's going to be like what Mr. Miracle is, because Mr. Miracle is a phenomenal miniseries, a character study, but I'm still going to check out Etrigan's series.
Why not? And I guess that's it. I don't think there's any major books coming out.
Nope, nothing anyone's been excited about. For like a year. No. Definitely not. Nothing that we have pins for around the studio.
No.
Nothing that involves like a, you know, major event or like characters from like kind of another universe.
Yeah,
nope.
I can't believe it. Unless you're talking about Doomsday Clock #1, written by Jeff Johns, art by Gary Frank. In which case, I have to recommend that book because, like, it's coming out.
It's happening.
It's happening, and it's going to happen sooner than later. And so. Pick it up and make it one of the highest selling books of all time.
Right.
Because I feel like it might be. Not of all time.
No.
It doesn't have 17 variant covers.
Here's the thing. Don't forget, guys. If you're in the US right now, Thanksgiving is Thursday, right? So you're going to want to go get your comics, all right? You're going to want to have them ready to go. Bring them with you.
Yes.
Because there's going to be that lull in the day where people are just talking. You don't even care anymore.
Yeah, they're all complaining about the administration. No.
That's when you're going to want to do the reread. Because you know you're reading Doomsday Clock on Wednesday.
Exactly.
Then you're going to want to go back and be like, okay.
Get your drumstick and your book and you just enjoy it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So thanks a lot for watching this episode of Off the Rack. And hey, hopefully you like this little format that we tried out. If you do, let us know in the comments. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week with an all-new episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Thanks a lot for watching.